You're about to unlock a signal so old that it reaches beyond language, beyond culture, straight into the reptile layer of her brain. It isn't game, height, or bank balance. It's the cloth that clings to your shoulders, the way light slides across a clean collar, the silent command stitched into every seam. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to dress so her primitive attraction switch flips on before she's even aware she's reaching for it. Picture the average city street at rush hour. Horns bleat, neon flickers, everyone locked in their private scrolling trance. You step off the curb in a charcoal jacket that frames your torso like iron, sleeves kissing the hinge of your wrist, shirt simple and crisp as fresh-cut paper. You move without hurry, head swivel not because you're loud, but because you're coded correctly. Her subconscious clocks the way fabric drapes over muscle, the way the muted palate refuses to beg for attention yet commands it. You don't need to speak, you are broadcasting. Most guys sabotage that broadcast. They dress for other men updates, hype drops, brand logos screaming like toddlers for candy, or they hide in saggy anonymity, hoping no one notices the soft bulge at the waistband or the shoulders slouching under decades of compromise. It's comfortable, they mumble, as if comfort were virtue. What they miss is that comfort without form whispers one word to every female brain within 50 feet safety blanket. And she has enough blankets at home. She's searching for a spear, a shield, a man whose silhouette promises protection and challenge at once. Your clothes are talismans forged in the oldest furnace competition for mates. Millennia ago, your ancestors skinned predators and draped themselves in victory. The tribe saw proof of danger overcome. Today, the battlefield is fluorescent, not primordial, but the circuitry remains. A perfectly fitted t-shirt that skims the line of your deltoid tells the same story as tiger hide. A spotless pair of leather boots, polished but not precious. Whispers I walk through chaos and bring order. Even the subtle scent of cedar oil sliding from the grain of a watch strap can conjure the memory of forests where men once hunted. I still remember sitting at a corner table in a low-lit bar when a woman slid onto the empty stool beside me. No hello, no name, just eyes roaming the stitching on my jacket. She traced the ridge of the lapel with a fingertip and said, almost puzzled, "You look like you meant to be here." That line cost her nothing. But what she really voiced was surrender to a silent demonstration of intent. Inside my skull, the thought flashed, the uniform works. Yours will too, once you tailor it to the only metrics that matter: fit, texture, and restraint. Fit is non-negotiable. Fabric hugging the hinge of your shoulder tells her you own your frame. Not that you borrowed someone else's insecurities. Baggy screams indecision, spray-on screams insecurity in neon italics. The sweet spot is tension with room to breathe, like a coiled spring that could snap or relax at any moment. When you stand, your waistband sits flat, no bunching. When you sit, your shirt doesn't billow like a broken sail. The message control without rigidity. Next comes texture. A woman's fingers read before her eyes confirm. Soft merino against skin hints at luxury, but raw denim against her thigh when you lean in conveys toil and endurance. Contrasting textures create a psychological cocktail comfort laced with danger. She cannot parse that mix rationally. She can only feel the primitive yes or no. Give her both sensations at once and the yes overwhelms every veto she tries to raise. Finally, restraint. Logos are megaphones for men still begging for approval. Strip them away. Let the silence of an unbranded chest force observers to wonder who tailored your armor. The quieter the surface, the louder the signal that you do not advertise because you have no discounts to offer. Even color should be disciplined deep navy. Charcoal, bone white, tobacco brown. These shades echo earth, night, and bone all elements of survival. When a single accent like a blood-red pocket square appears, it erupts like danger on the horizon. She notices, then wonders what else you're hiding behind that calm edge. Fine, you say, but I'm broke and the mall is a wasteland. Good. Scarcity sharpens instinct. Tomorrow, enter a thrift shop with $20 and hunt. Feel fabric between thumb and forefinger. Hold it to light. Ask whether it frames or hides. If it hides, drop it. If it frames but constricts breath, drop that too. You're collecting tools, not costumes. One jacket, one tee, one pair of jeans that taper clean down to the boot. 3 pieces that together tell a coherent war story. Wear them for a week. Notice how strangers hold eye contact a fraction longer. How bouncers wave you ahead. How her pupils widen before she even thinks to smile. The first time you walk into a room dressed like the man you swore you'd become, expect resistance from the voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" That voice is the ghost of every compromise you've made. Let it speak. Then lace your boots tighter and override it. In silence, you'll hear a second voice, hers speaking through micro flinches of eyelid and the absent-minded tuck of hair behind ear. It says, finally. Someone wrote the code correctly, and now the hook is set. But it's only as strong as the signal you maintain. The threads are merely wires, the electricity is posture. Fit is non-negotiable. Fabric hugging the hinge of your shoulder tells her you own your frame, not that you borrowed someone else's insecurities. Baggy screams indecision, spray-on screams insecurity, and neon italics. The sweet spot is tension with room to breathe, like a coiled spring that could snap or relax at any moment. When you stand, your waistband sits flat. No bunching. When you sit, your shirt doesn't billow like a broken sail. The message control without rigidity. Next comes texture. A woman's fingers read before her eyes confirm. Soft merino against skin hints at luxury, but raw denim against her thigh when you lean in conveys toil and endurance. Contrasting textures create a psychological cocktail comfort laced with danger. She cannot parse that mix rationally. She can only feel the primitive yes or no. Give her both sensations at once, and the yes overwhelms every veto she tries to raise. Finally, restraint. Logos are megaphones for men still begging for approval. Strip them away. Let the silence of an unbranded chest force observers to wonder who tailored your armor. The quieter the surface, the louder the signal that you do not advertise because you have no discounts to offer. Even color should be disciplined deep navy, charcoal, bone white, tobacco brown. These shades echo earth, night, and bone, all elements of survival. When a single accent like a blood-red pocket square appears, it erupts like danger on the horizon. She notices, then wonders what else you're hiding behind that calm edge. Fine, you say, but I'm broke and the mall is a wasteland. Good. Scarcity sharpens instinct. Tomorrow, enter a thrift shop with $20 and hunt. Feel fabric between thumb and forefinger. Hold it to light. Ask whether it frames or hides. If it hides, drop it. If it frames but constricts breath, drop that too. You're collecting tools, not costumes. One jacket, one tee, one pair of jeans that taper clean down to the boot. 3 pieces that together tell a coherent war story. Wear them for a week. Notice how strangers hold eye contact a fraction longer, how bouncers wave you ahead, how her pupils widen before she even thinks to smile. The first time you walk into a room dressed like the man you swore you'd become, expect resistance from the voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" That voice is the ghost of every compromise you've made. Let it speak. Then lace your boots tighter and override it. In silence, you'll hear a second voice, her speaking through micro flinches of eyelid and the absent-minded tuck of hair behind ear. It says, finally. Someone wrote the code correctly, and now the hook is set, but it's only as strong as the signal you maintain. The threads are merely wires. The electricity is posture. You don't need to puff your chest out or walk like a movie villain. That's theater, and women can smell theater the way wolves smell fear. What you need is stillness. Stillness is magnetic. Stillness says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here because I belong here. When you lean against a wall, don't fidget. When you sit, own the space without sprawling. Let your movements be precise, minimal, intentional, like a lion shifting its weight, not a squirrel scanning for predators. Every flick of your wrist, every adjustment of your collar should serve the same silent message, I know who I am. You'll catch up. That's the real draw, not the clothes, not even your face. It's the absence of need. Need is repellent. You think she doesn't notice the subtle tremble when you compliment her. You think she can't decode the frantic eye contact, the overeager laugh, the wardrobe that screams, did I do it right? Did I do... Her nervous system has been decoding men for generations. It's faster than logic, older than memory. But when you show up dressed not to impress, but to contain, that's when it flips. You become an unsolvable puzzle. You trigger what evolutionary psychologists call mate assessment mode. Her mind starts scanning. Why is this man different? Why does he carry himself like that? What else is behind that stillness? She starts to fill in blanks with fantasies, ones that hook her more powerfully than any joke or pickup line ever could. And this is where most men destroy the effect. They talk. Too soon. Too much. Too eager to justify the power they haven't even fully claimed. You dress right. Posture calm, eyes slow, and then you rush to explain yourself. Stop. Let the silence thicken. Let her come to you. Let the space between your words feel like velvet tension. If she asks a question, give her an answer with weight, not noise. Don't fill silence, expand into it. Expand. This is what your wardrobe is training her for to earn your speech, your warmth, your energy. You're flipping the ancient equation. The average man believes attention is given to him. You're showing that attention is granted by you. Every thread on your body is a gate, and she can see how tightly it's kept. Let's go deeper. Why does all of this matter so much to her? Why does a man in a fitted Henley with calloused hands and a quiet grin hit harder than a shredded guy in a tank top with flashy sneakers? It's because her attraction mechanism is survival-based, not logic-based. When she sees a man dressed with clarity, she registers safety and danger at once. Safe to trust, dangerous to challenge. That's the perfect mix. You think her body doesn't react to the way your jeans hug your hip and fall clean over your boot? You think her eyes don't scan the vein peeking from your forearm under that rolled sleeve? She doesn't need to be aware. Her biology tracks symmetry, posture, movement, contrast. Your shirt isn't just a shirt. It's a test, a signal, a message broadcasted without consent. And if it's the right message, her body replies before her mouth does. A woman once told me, "There's something about a man who looks like he built the life he lives in." That stuck with me. That's the benchmark. You're not dressing for her approval. You're dressing to reflect the life you're crafting. And if that life isn't there yet, you still dress as if it were because the clothes can be scaffolding. They hold your posture when your soul hasn't caught up. But here's the truth, the outside in does work, if it's aligned with the inside out effort. So build the uniform, make it sacred, fold it with care, clean it like it matters, lay it out like ritual. When you wear it, don't touch your phone, don't slouch, don't explain. Walk slow. Make eye contact. Then look away first, not to submit, but to imply you have something more important waiting, that you are the fire, not the moth. If you do this right, you won't need to chase her. She'll chase the feeling she got from just watching you move. She won't even be able to describe it. She'll tell her friends, "He's just different." She'll check your stories hoping for a glimpse. She'll replay your conversations wondering if she missed something. You didn't say anything special. You wore it. You embodied it. And here's the cruel truth most men never realize by the time she's asking about you. It's already too late for the others. You've already passed through the filter most men never even see exists. You've bypassed the noise, the scripts, the games. She's not comparing you to the others anymore. She's comparing everyone else to you. The primitive switch has flipped, and now she can't unsee it. She'll go home that night and scroll through her messages. There are 5 guys texting her, 2 trying too hard, 1 pretending not to care, another she forgot existed, and the last one's decent but boring. But her mind isn't with any of them. It's stuck on the man who didn't say much, didn't hover, didn't try to sell himself, but who looked like he belonged to a world she wanted to touch. She remembers the way your jacket moved when you turned, the way your boots thudded across the floor like you weren't rushing anywhere because you didn't have to. She remembers how she tried to read your shirt's texture with her eyes, and how you gave her nothing but stillness in return. That's the kind of man women crave, not the one who dresses to impress, but the one who dresses like he has something worth protecting. You're not there to perform. You're there because it's your domain, your space, your silence. She enters your atmosphere, not the other way around. But this only works if the inside matches the outside. You can't fake it for long. She'll sense it if your shirt fits perfectly, but your words collapse under pressure. She'll feel it if your boots shine, but your spine buckles. So the question is, when you look that good, can you hold it? Can you carry the gravity your image demands? You have to become the man your outfit implies. That means developing discipline behind the polish, waking up early even when no one sees it, reading books that challenge you, training your body not for aesthetics, but for dominance over laziness, eating like you respect yourself, sleeping like you intend to fight tomorrow. Your clothes are the wrapping, your habits are the weight. When she gets close, she's not touching cotton. She's touching the consequences of your choices. And what do most men do when they hear this? They flinch. They say, "It shouldn't matter how I dress. She should like me for who I am." No, that's a loser's chant. That's the voice of a man begging the world to meet him at his lowest common denominator. Let me tell you something brutal. No one is coming to validate your invisible potential. Attraction is visual. Initial judgment is visual. You don't have time to deliver a monologue about your values. You have seconds. In those seconds, your body, your fit, your movement they speak, loudly. Women are hyper-tuned to those signals because their survival once depended on it. Long ago, the wrong man could mean death. Today, it means disappointment, boredom, wasted time. Same mechanism, modern arena. So when she sees you across the room, she doesn't just see a man in boots and a jacket. She sees a decision. And the decision either sparks that ancient pull, or it fizzles into background noise. You think attraction is about height, status, beard versus clean-shaven wrong questions? The right question is, do I project self-sufficiency, precision, and threat-level calm with every thread I wear? The reason the man in tailored simplicity wins isn't because of the brand, it's because of what it says about his choices. His restraint says, I don't need to flash. His fit says, I know my body because I built it. His grooming says, I've wrestled chaos into discipline. His stillness says, I have nothing to prove because I already proved it to myself. When you wear that truth, she can't help it. Her breath catches, her pupils dilate, her voice softens. She leans in. And here's the part you need to remember: she doesn't understand why. That's the power. You bypass her logic and speak directly to her nervous system. You don't need to smile too much. You don't need to chase her with flattery. You don't even need to talk. You just need to show up dressed like a man who won't chase anything he didn't earn. That outfit isn't decoration. It's declaration. And when you wear it long enough, something strange starts to happen. Your inner world begins to match the signal. You stop asking, do I look good enough? And start asking, do I move like someone who matters? You catch your reflection not to preen, but to check alignment, to make sure your shirt rests right across the shoulders. Not for vanity, but because it's the armor you wear into war. And war isn't always violence. Sometimes it's patience. Sometimes it's holding frame when she tests you. Sometimes it's silence when your instincts scream for reassurance. Your outfit becomes the first line of that war, the outer limit where the world tries to define you and fails. Because you've already defined yourself. And that, more than anything, is what flips her switch. She'll test you. She has to. It's biological. The more composed you are, the more she'll want to prod the edges to see if the calm is real or performance. She'll make a joke that bites. She'll delay a response to see if you'll chase. She'll compliment another man in front of you just to watch your eyes. And this is where your outfit alone isn't enough, because now she's looking past the fabric and into the frame beneath it. If you flinch, it all falls apart. If you lean forward, explain. Overreact. You confirm her worst fear that the stillness was costume, not character. But if you stay rooted, if you smile slightly and tilt your head like you've seen this play before, like you're 5 steps ahead and still not impressed, that's when it happens. Her breath shifts, her legs cross, her voice drops. She feels what she was hoping to find: a man immune to her chaos, immune to the bait. See, dressing well is just the first gate. Behind it must be the man who makes the clothes look earned. Anyone can buy a fitted jacket. Few can wear it like it's second skin forged in fire. Now listen closely, she isn't looking for perfection. She's looking for tension, the masculine kind. The paradox that says, I can hurt you, but I won't. I want you, but I don't need you. I notice you, but I'm not moved by you. Yet, that tension is erotic. It's ancestral. And it lives not in muscles or jawlines, but in poise. The way you adjust your sleeves slowly while holding eye contact, the way you remain unfazed when she criticizes something trivial, the way you nod once and say noted when another man tries to rattle you. The fabric across your shoulders is just the beginning. The behavior beneath it is the hook that sinks in deep. And here's what makes this lethal once you master this presence. You become memorable, painfully so. Days later, she'll catch herself replaying how you walked away without asking for her number. She'll scroll through social media hoping you magically appear. She'll replay the way your shirt pulled slightly across your chest when you leaned forward to pay the bill. She won't know why that detail won't leave her alone. But you will, because you didn't just dress well, you presented a riddle, a puzzle she felt in her spine. She wants the solution, and you never handed her the answer. You left her in the question. This is how you become her obsession. Not through words, not through effort, through restraint, through signal control, through presence so grounded that the world has to adjust to your frequency, not the other way around. So the next time you open your closet, don't ask, what should I wear today? Ask instead, what am I declaring today? Because if you dress like the man who doesn't flinch, doesn't explain, doesn't beg, and doesn't apologize, she'll follow the signal. She won't even know why.